What if I told you that predators can spot a vulnerable target in less than 3 seconds? Before you speak, before you react, before you even realize someone is watching you. And the first thing they look for is something you do without thinking, the way you walk. Criminal psychologists have proven it repeatedly. People who move with slow, hesitant, or uncoordinated steps are subconsciously ranked as low-risk targets. Their body says, I'm distracted, I'm unsure, I won't put up a fight. And the terrifying part, most victims never noticed they were signaling weakness until after the attack. But that's just the first subconscious behavior predators are trained to spot. And the next one is even more dangerous, because you don't just show it, you broadcast it. This one is almost invisible except for someone hunting for it. It happens when you sense someone nearby, and your brain tells you, don't look, don't engage, just keep walking. Your eyes drop, your shoulders tighten, your path becomes slightly more narrow. To normal people, this means nothing, but to a predator, it screams opportunity. Avoidance, even for half a second, is interpreted as lack of awareness, low confidence, high compliance, weak resistance. In interviews, burglars, muggers, and even kidnappers consistently describe this as one of their top selection cues, because someone who avoids eye contact is someone who won't make noise, won't cause a scene, won't fight back. And what comes next is the most common subconscious signal, especially among people who think they're being polite.
Someone bumps into you on a crowded sidewalk, and instinctively you apologize. Someone else creates an awkward silence, and you're the one who shrinks, smiles, and says, sorry, my bad. This feels like simple kindness, but it's not. It's appeasement. It's the subconscious language of someone desperate to avoid conflict, and predators interpret it exactly that way. In threat psychology, that quick, unnecessary apology is the calling card of someone who will yield quickly, avoid confrontation, and comply under pressure. Seasoned defenders describe over-apologizers as easy to shape. Their boundaries bend, their reactions soften. Their instinct is to please instead of resist. And here's the most disturbing part. You don't even have to speak. Predators can read this behavior through micro-expressions alone. The tight half smile, the lowered chin. That apology tells them you won't speak up for yourself, but the next behavior tells them you won't fight back. It's called the personal space collapse. Every human has an invisible bubble around them. When you feel safe and confident, that bubble is firm. When you feel unsure, that bubble collapses. And predators look for this collapse instantly. Watch what happens in public spaces. Some people step aside far too early. Others physically compress themselves when someone approaches, giving up territory without even realizing it. To a normal passerby, it's just politeness. To a predator, it's a green light. Because collapsing your personal space signals a lack of territorial control and a high fear response. And they are experts at testing this boundary. They'll walk slightly close to the normal, drift toward your path, just to see if you're the one who moves first. If you move instinctively without resistance, their entire targeting calculus changes. But nothing reveals fear more than what comes next, a behavior that happens in the precise moment your survival instinct hesitates.
There's a signal that predators look for. It's one of the strongest. It's not the full freeze response you might picture, just a fraction of a second. A tiny pause, a breath held, a micro delay where your brain is trying to compute a threat but hasn't yet chosen a reaction. They call this the window. Because in that single moment, you're aware enough to be scared, but you're not alert enough to act. Your muscles stiffen, your shoulders rise for just a split second. And that brief hesitation says it all. It tells a predator you can be overwhelmed quickly. Your reactions aren't automatic. Your self-defense instincts aren't trained. This is why you hear victims say afterwards, I didn't know what to do. I just stopped. It happened so fast. They rely on that gap because they know they can move faster than your fear.
But the next behavior doesn't reveal fear, it reveals something even more dangerous. Most of us assume fear looks like shaking hands or a trembling voice, but predators aren't looking for trembling. They're looking for tension. Tension is the body's silent admission that it feels threatened, even when the mind is trying to pretend everything is normal. Watch someone who feels unsafe. Their shoulders rise toward their ears, their arms stiffen, their jaw clenches, and their breathing gets shallow. That's the excess tension loop, the body preparing for danger long before the conscious mind catches up. And it's red instantly, because when someone is already tense, their decision-making plummets. Their reaction time slows. Their awareness narrows. A tense person is easier to surprise and far easier to control. But the most dangerous behavior of all isn't about fear. It's about routine. Because if a predator can predict what you'll do next, they can position themselves exactly where you will be. And that's where the final behavior becomes lethal.
Predators love patterns because patterns make people easy to follow, easy to intercept, and easy to isolate. Most of us don't even realize we live inside a daily loop. It's almost invisible to us, but it's crystal clear to someone who's watching. Think about your walk to work or your evening jog. It's probably the same route, the same pace. You might even have the same scanning pattern, a quick glance left, a longer look right. They're the same places where your attention drops, when you pull out your phone, where you get lost in a thought. Your body posture might even change at the exact same moments each day. To you, it's just routine. To a criminal, it's a map. They study these loops the same way a hunter studies a deer trail. If you check your phone at the same corner every single day, they notice. If you always walk faster through busy areas but slow down in the quiet, empty zones, they notice. If you only seem to relax once you reach your own street, your own familiar territory, they notice. Predictability is a gift to a predator. It removes their single biggest challenge, uncertainty. It tells them where you'll be, when you'll be there, and what you'll be doing. And a predictable person is a target waiting to happen. But here's the part almost no one tells you. You don't need to be stronger. You don't need to be trained in self-defense. You just need to break the pattern. Even a tiny disruption in your behavior, an unexpected glance over your shoulder, a sudden pause, crossing the street for no apparent reason, is sometimes all it takes to make a predator walk away, because uncertainty is the one thing they hate more than resistance. It unravels their entire plan. If you're finding this breakdown useful, consider subscribing to Mind Under Threat. We explore the hidden psychology of danger, the instincts that protect you, and the behaviors that put you at risk without you realizing it. Most people never learn how predators think, but you're not most people. Stay aware, stay sharp, and let's continue. Most people go through life believing danger is obvious. A loud sound in the dark, a suspicious figure in an alley, a confrontation you can see coming from a mile away. But real danger is quiet. It studies you long before it ever approaches. It watches how you move through the world, how you react to a stranger's gaze, how you shrink when someone stands too close. It sees how you hesitate, how you apologize for taking up space, how you tense up, and how you repeat your routines day after day without ever noticing you're being observed. Predators aren't just choosing a person. They're choosing a pattern. And every one of the behaviors we've discussed is a tiny invitation, a subconscious signal that says, I'm not fully aware, I'm not fully confident, I won't fully resist. But here's the truth almost nobody understands. These behaviors aren't flaws in your character. They are programs, automatic responses written deep into the subconscious mind, shaped by fear, by habit, by social conditioning, and by a lifetime of trying to avoid conflict. You don't erase these programs by being stronger. You erase them by becoming aware. Because awareness is the one thing that flips the roles. It removes the predator's advantage of surprise. It closes the gap between victim and observer. It forces them to look away and choose someone else. Most people walk through the world unprepared, but you're not most people. Not anymore.
If this helped you understand danger from a new angle, consider subscribing to Mind Under Threat. Here we decode the hidden psychology of predators, survival instincts, and the subconscious behaviors that shape how people react under pressure. The more you understand how danger works, the harder you are to target. Stay aware, stay unpredictable, and remember, your mind is your first line of defense.